in once more as the next president of the United States. And it's going to get worse before it gets better because that particular news, we know how we have the BLMs and the Antifas and
Mm-hmm.
everybody else that comes out of fray, and they're going to cause destruction. You can tell the civility that a lot of conservatives have. You can feel what you want to feel about them, but they're not going around tearing up our country, their communities and states. They're still having rallies. They're peaceful. They're active. They're with love. They're loud. They have a lot of pride. It's patriotism.
They're teaching
And
people how to fish.
absolutely, they're
Right.
teaching people how to fish, 100%. And so I'm really optimistic about it. I just think all this, a lot of it is smoke and mirrors. But I tell people this, and I end with this: either from a Christian standpoint or just faith, believe, whatever it is. Either you're going to believe or you're not. There's no in between when it comes to that. And I'm a strong believer in affirmation. I'm a strong believer in what you profess through your words or your mindset. That's what rewards you with the universe. And so I can only see him as the president of the United States. And I'm excited for the fact when it happens, we're all going to sit back 10 years from now, 5 years from now, I'm like, whew, right? And just
Yeah.
have one of those moments. And we're going to move forward. We are all collectively resilient people. I don't care what side you're on. We've been through worse things, but we will get through this together. And I'm looking forward to another Donald Trump administration and him pushing forward effective and beneficial policies for our state and also for our country.
It's interesting. I really appreciate those words of encouragement. I'm a firm believer in God and His influence over what happens in our lifetimes, and God puts people in place that belong there. And I don't think that anybody else could have done the job that Donald Trump has done because he's got the correct background, the
Yeah,
success, the fortitude, the attitude. And no, we don't always agree with his tweets, but
yeah,
it took a special person to do what he's done. And
absolutely.
I'm going to be patient with God's timing and also believe that he'll be sworn in and we will have that moment where we wipe our brow.
Yeah,
So, my line is what you believe is what you will achieve. And I believe that this is going to happen. And I think, I think that the patience that we're having between election day and when he's sworn in, it allows some of these things to come to the surface that have been
yeah,
festering for a lot of years. And I think that the country and the world would be a better place for it, whatever the outcome is.
absolutely.
Last question for you. It's not necessarily a question, but what would you like to tell our listeners about your position and your run for governor that everybody needs to hear?
Well, just get everybody inspired. Even though this is a California race, that wherever you are, you can support what we're doing, and that can mean just sharing content. That can mean becoming an ambassador, donating a minimum of $5 to $10 every single month. That'd mean emailing our campaign if you have any ideas or solutions, or would like to be an ally to some of the things that we're fighting and advocating for here in our state. And also, hopefully, this inspires you. If you're having difficulties in your personal community as well, run for office or support other people who are running for office. Get involved. Oftentimes, talk about the stands of frustration that a lot of us currently were in or presently we're in. That means that the stands of frustration, you're the individual that you're yelling at the refs, on the field or on the court or the players, and you're professing that if I was in the game, I would do this, or if I was that guy or the coach, I would have called this play. Well, instead of being a spectator, it's time for us all to become players,
Mm-hmm.
right? Instead of being a spectator, it's time for us to all become players. California is a trailblazer for all things policy and everything. And so if you are not experiencing it even in your state right now, just rest assured if it happens here in California, it's going to be something that can spill over into your region as well too. And this is why we're fighting so hard. So essentially, I'm not only fighting for California, I'm fighting for all the states that exist that are not having to deal with some of the policies that are so detrimental to our community and to our entire state. And so support me on this journey. Continue to pour into us. And more importantly, pray for us. Pray for my family. Pray for my campaign team. Pray for this entire journey because that's the most important element that has protected us thus far. And I feel like it's going to continue to protect us. Even in this office that I'm sitting in right now, a gentleman tried to break into this particular office while I was in here and wanted to do me bodily harm. I don't know how, but he wasn't able to break through the door. It was a very flimsy door, but he wasn't able to break in.
Thank
But in
goodness.
full context, either God was going to protect me with the door not breaking down, or God blessed me with my Second Amendment rights because I did have my 380 right there on my desk. So it all worked out for the benefit. He made it back home to his family. Well, he was in jail, but I'm sure he's back at home with his family. And I made it back home to my family, and we're here today to be able to express and share with you today on your platform, and hopefully what we've been able to talk about today resonates with a lot of your audience as well, and they decide to get behind what we are doing. I do call our campaign a hit record. When people haven't seen it before, it's something new. It is something fresh, and that's kind of like deliberate, but it's actually genuine. This is just me being myself. I didn't have to manifest it. So support what we're doing. MajorForGovernor.com. Follow me on Instagram at Major Williams. On Twitter is Major CA Gov. And our official website, as I said, is MajorForGovernor.com. And you can easily become an ambassador. You can donate. You can leave a video in regards to if you have any information for us, or just leave a, if you're in California, leave a video telling us what you love about California.
Wonderful. We'll put your link on the bio in this podcast. Major, I truly believe in what you're doing, what you stand for, your messaging. Pray for you and your family. I feel that this will probably be one of my best works of art on the podcast series when you become the governor of California. It's much needed. I hate recalling decisions that people have made through their voting power, but it's absolutely necessary in my mind for that to happen. And, I think the best we can offer is our prayers and support. And I look forward to seeing where you go from here. And I'm definitely going to sign up and send in my support when I can.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for having me aboard. I appreciate you.
Thank you for listening to today's show. It is my pleasure and honor to interview all of the guests that have been on the Answer is Yes podcast. If you have enjoyed the show, please go on iTunes and subscribe, give a rating, or simply tell a friend about the show. We also believe in the message of our guests and the positive influence of their stories. As my own mentor and coach, David Meltzer, has taught me, spend some time every day thinking and writing about the things in your own life that you have more than enough of. You will find out how blessed we really are. Please visit my website, livelifedriven.com, for the latest updates about me and what I'm doing. Plus, I post a monthly blog about the many topics on this show. This podcast can also be found there. As I learned early on in life, what you believe is what you will achieve. Thanks, Mark Victor Hansen. And thank you, and have a great week.
This episode of The Answer is Yes brought to you by Baja Bound Insurance Services. Driving to Mexico? You can buy and print out your Mexican auto insurance policy online in minutes with their easy-to-use website. They also have great travel information to help you plan your trip south of the border. Visit BajaBound.com.